Lying on your back with your knees bent, take a moment to just come into your body and out of your day. Placing your hand on your chest and your low belly, take a breath into both places and a long exhale out. And another one, taking a breath in and exhale, just releasing your day so far. And one more, inhaling into both the chest and the abdomen and a long exhale out. You're going to go ahead and grab a strap or a belt, whatever you have around. You're going to hook it over the end of your foot, and we're going to begin with a hamstring stretch. Bringing your leg up, pointing towards the sky, focusing on having your hips level throughout. The stretch is in the back of the thigh, and you want it to be just so that you feel a gentle lengthening and not a deep pull. You can move the leg towards you and away, so focusing on keeping the length of the spine heavy on the mat, but moving your thigh bone gently towards you and then gently away. So you're coming into the stretch for a moment and then exhaling and then moving out. So you'll exhale as you're moving into stretch, inhale to come out. You can hold it still in this position as well, and to intensify the stretch, you can straighten the other leg. If you find that your knee doesn't naturally fall flat onto the floor of the straight leg, place a towel or something underneath it or rebend at the knee. To target the inside thigh and the inner hamstring, we're going to move the leg out to the side. Moving the bent leg as well, this helps to keep your pelvis level, and you want to have a gentle activation of the deep core muscles. You can take your hand underneath the leg of the stretching leg, underneath the knee, and you can just let your leg weight into your hand. So you're supporting the leg with the hand, and you're focusing on releasing tension around the deeper part of the pelvis at the attachments of the adductors and the hamstring, and throughout the inner thigh. Slowly coming back to center, we'll straighten the other leg, and now we're going to bring that leg to stretch across the body. As you do so here again, picture keeping your pelvis level on the mat and just allowing the leg bone to come across the body. Taking a breath into the back of the hip. You can switch which hand you're using to hold the strap. You may feel more secure if you're reaching across the body to hold the leg. You're anchoring with that straight leg down on the floor, and again, if you need a pillow underneath the knee for support, then go ahead and put that in. We're coming back through to center. We're going to take the strap away, and now we're going to move in to a gluteal stretch. So we're picking up the knee to 90 degrees, rotating the leg bone in the socket only, and placing that ankle over the opposite knee. As you did this, you want to make sure that you didn't hike your pelvis side to side. Now, keeping the hips anchored onto the floor, you're going to draw the other leg bone towards your chest. You can either grab with your hands, or you can use the strap to gently pull towards you. As the thigh bone comes towards the chest, really envision that you kind of drop deeply into the back of the socket to allow stretch deep in the buttock. So as the leg is coming into the stretch, you're also simultaneously thinking of lengthening the body. We're going to add a small spinal twist by placing the foot back down on the ground, keeping length throughout your spine, and allowing the foot to drop towards the floor. Your focus is on this gentle rotation through your lumbar spine, and if it feels hard for you to get your foot all the way down to the floor, don't force it. Place a block underneath the foot. Breathing here into the side waist, turning your head to look in the opposite direction, and just feeling the space before coming back to center and moving into the other side. So placing that strap onto the other leg. Again, first our focus is on lengthening through the spine, a soft, gentle activation of our core. Our neck and shoulders are quite relaxed into the mat. We're gently drawing the thigh bone towards the chest, creating length between your sitting bone and the back of your knee. If it feels really pulley in the back of the knee, I want you to go ahead and just take a soft bend in that knee. Lengthening out that other leg can enhance the stretch. And again, remembering if you need to support that leg if it doesn't lay flat, go ahead and do so. Really think about releasing tension through the back of the thigh. And if there's quite a big pull in the calf, you may want to choose to point the foot versus flexing it. To move to the inner thigh, bring the legs back to center, and now you're allowing both thigh bones to move away from the midline. The right knee is bent, the left leg long. And again, you can take that hand underneath the straight leg to provide support, or you can imagine drawing that strap in towards the midline, so it's as though the femur is being drawn into the socket while it's dropping towards the floor. So just breathing into that deep groin area. You can take a soft bend in the knee if you feel pull on the inner side of the knee as well. Straightening out the other leg, we're going to take that leg across the body. Ideally here, we're keeping your pelvis anchored, so it's truly a leg bone and socket motion versus a low back twist. And you want to play with that, finding where you can find stretch in the hip without drawing the low back and lumbar spine into it. Shoulders are relaxed and heavy. We're breathing deeply down into the diaphragm. Coming back through center, we're going to take the strap over to the other leg, and now moving the first leg to 90 degrees, rotating the ball in the socket to place the ankle over the opposite knee, and then drawing that thigh bone towards you. Again, as you move through that rotation to get into this position, be aware that it's truly the ball in the socket of your hip and that you didn't shorten your waist on either side to get there. If you need to, you can place your foot on a block or draw with the strap towards you, eventually grabbing behind the back of the knee. Your shoulders are relaxed, your neck and jaw are soft, and you're breathing deeply down into that hip socket. We're going to move through rotation, so bringing the foot down towards the floor, moving through the lower part of your back gently into a spinal twist. I've placed my foot on a block this time, so I'm going less deeply into the stretch. You're going to turn and look in the opposite direction. Hands can be right out to your side or overhead. And you're breathing into the spaciousness, that space between your lowest rib and your pelvis. Just imagine your back softening through the stretch and releasing tension in the groin and through the deep part of the buttock. Starting to come back through center with a little bit of core activation. I correct myself, you're going to go deeper into the stretch. So if you've had your foot on the block and you feel as though this has released, you may feel that invitation to go that little bit further into the stretch. So as you go there, it should feel like a natural opening as opposed to a stress or a strain. So now coming back through center, uncrossing the legs, we'll take the strap away and drawing the first knee, right knee towards your chest. Again, focusing on the thigh bone coming towards you as your sacrum and your tailbone stay very heavily planted on the floor. Here again, you may realize that your knee does not go straight to the ground, and that requires that you release some tension through the front of your thigh. So for now, go ahead and place a towel or a blanket under the knee. Switching sides, thigh bone comes towards the chest, and you're feeling this nice drop of the straight leg. The ball in the socket is moving towards the back of the floor or into the floor. And you just want to breathe into the back body here. So breathing into the shoulders and the low back. And then turning onto the side, we're going to move into a quadriceps stretch. You may want to place a pillow between your head and your arm for better alignment. Your bottom knee is bent, so that creates an anchor point for your pelvis. And you might want to envision also my hand sliding underneath your bottom ribs or placing a towel there. Your leg is back behind you, but there's this idea of the pubic bone reaching towards the nose while you're in the stretch. And you're feeling as though that leg will gently drop towards the floor, so it's not pointing towards the ceiling. The stretch is for the front of the thigh, and you can just focus on gently drawing that thigh bone back in the socket as the pubic bone reaches towards the nose. We're going to go ahead and do the stretch on the other side. So landmarking, envisioning space for that bottom rib, a little bit of a lift. I might want to see some light heading underneath there. A pillow between the arm and the head. Anchoring your bottom leg so it really feels like your pelvis is stacked, one pelvic bone over the other. There's a soft core contraction as the pubic bone reaches in the direction of the nose and the thigh bone reaches back behind you, this being initiated from your hip socket. You're stretching the front of that thigh. You may even press your instep of your foot into your hand to intensify the stretch in a nice way. So coming out of that and just onto your side, take a nice breath and exhale.